Stories that define the day from every corner of the planet. I'm Arjun Samad Mahindran and you're tuned into the Tuesday edition of the World Report. New developments today in rising tensions between the United States and its European allies. Norway's Prime Minister is responding after receiving a message from US President Donald Trump referencing the Nobel Peace Prize and Greenland. Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store says that Trump sent him a message suggesting he no longer feels obligated to think purely of peace after not receiving the Nobel Peace Prize last year. Listen in.
Jeg tenkte å gå inn og kommentere hver setning i den SMS-en. Han veldig opptatt av Nobelprisen. Og jeg har forklart til han lenge at det en pris som deles ut av en norsk komité, ikke av en norsk regjering.
Now, according, meanwhile, to European officials familiar with the message, Trump also wrote that the world is not secure unless the US has what he called complete and total control of Greenland. It's a self-governing territory of NATO member Denmark. The message, very importantly, comes amid a broader dispute over Greenland and after Trump announced a 10% tariff on imports from several NATO allies, including Norway. Stowe described the situation as being unusual and added that threatening allies with tariff is unacceptable. Not only this, he added that he has not replied to the message but attempted to speak with Trump by phone. Stowe further says he hopes to speak directly with Trump if they meet later this week at the World Economic Forum underway in Switzerland's Davos.
Jeg har vel ikke svart på meldingen. Jeg ønsket jo å få til en telefonsamtale med han i går om disse spørsmålene sammen med den finske presidenten som jeg arbeider tett med. Og det lot seg jo ikke gjøre, og jeg sendte vel et signal om at vi synes fortsatt det vil være klokt med en sånn samtale.
Back at home, US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has dismissed questions about Trump's message to Norway on Monday and now he's also defended the president's approach to Greenland before abruptly ending a brief Q&A with reporters in Davos. We get you more.
I don't know anything about the president's letter to Norway, and I think it's a complete canard that the president will be doing this because of the Nobel Prize. The president is looking at Greenland as a strategic asset for the United States. We are not going to outsource our hemispheric security to anyone else.
Well, my colleague Aditya Raj Coles joins us for the latest on this story. Aditya, Trump's rising rhetoric just a day before the all-important Davos speech. We've also seen Trump reveal Macron's message to him, where Macron is clearly asking for audience on Thursday over dinner. So what do you make of this and how are things looking to pan out, not only for the US, but also for its European allies, Aditya?
Well, that's right. There's a growing desperation among the European countries who are supporting Greenland and Denmark as to how to respond to the rhetoric of the US President Donald Trump. Just a couple of hours ago, Donald Trump took to social media, Truth Social, and posted an image where he showed a map in which Venezuela, Greenland, and another country were part of the United States, Canada, in fact, in this particular case. So there is a rhetoric, there is, of course, provocation that is continuously coming in. He also posted a personal exchange with the French President Emmanuel Macron, in which Macron was desperately pleading Trump to join the G7 meeting after Davos and thereafter leave for the United States. Of course, Europe is trying to bargain hard, saying that they will support the US stand on several other key issues, but he should not intervene in Greenland. But will Trump budge? That is anybody's guess. Every passing day, the rhetoric is only growing from the White House and from Trump himself. He has been continuously saying that this is for the national security of the United States. It is Chinese and the Russians who could take over Greenland, and that's why it is paramount for the US to immediately take over this. Just a few days back, we had a meeting between the Danish and the Greenland foreign ministers with J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, but doesn't seem like that there was any kind of amicable solution that was arrived at because immediately after we saw 10% tariffs being imposed on 8 European countries, including the United Kingdom as well. And now it is being said that if in the next few months the Europeans do not budge, then from 1st of June there could be a 25% tariff imposed on them. That clearly indicates a diplomatic standoff, a new global order really, in which Trump dictates terms and others need to follow, or else there is a complete chaos.
Aditya there getting us the latest on the Trump rising rhetoric just before the all-important speech at Davos, which is scheduled, in fact, to take place Tuesday. Donald Trump revealed he had a phone call with Secretary General of NATO Mark Rutte on Greenland. Now, in a Truth Social post, Trump has said, and as you see there on your screens right now, he agreed to a meeting of various parties in Davos. That's correct. And amid all this chaos, Trump has also created on a global stage. He says that the US is the only power that can ensure peace throughout the world. Not only this, he's also reiterated his desire for Greenland and stated that there is no going back. We stay with Donald Trump, who's made several striking comments on Monday before boarding the Air Force One to return to Washington, D.C. He mocked French President Emmanuel Macron, saying nobody wants him on the Gaza Board of Peace. He threatened a 200% levy or tariffs on French wine, saying maybe only then Macron will join his board. He also spoke about his Nobel Peace Prize snub. Trump said he does not care about the Nobel Peace Prize, the first coming from the US president. The president also took the opportunity to double down on Greenland as well. He undermined Denmark and said they simply cannot protect the island. We get you Trump's bites.
Do you have any response to President Macron saying he will not join the Board of Peace?
Oh, did he say that? Well, nobody wants him because he's going to be out of office very soon. So, that's all right. What I'll do is if they feel like Costco, I'll put a 200% tariff on his wines and champagnes, and he'll join. But he doesn't have to join it.
Well, Donald Trump there, he also doubled down on Greenland and, of course, slammed President Emmanuel Macron. Take a look.
No, I don't care about the Nobel Prize. First of all, a very fine woman felt that I deserved it and really wanted me to have the Nobel Prize, and I appreciate that. If anybody thinks that Norway doesn't control the Nobel Prize, they're just kidding. They have a board, but it's controlled by Norway, and I don't care what Norway says. Well, I don't think they're going to push back too much. Look, we have to have it. They have to have this done. They can protect it. Denmark, they're wonderful people. And I know the leaders are very good people, but they don't even go there.
Now, as Donald Trump declined to rule out seizing Gaza by force in his latest response to local media, the Danish Foreign Minister Lars Rasmussen has issued a new message for Trump. We'll play out that message for you right now.
I Arktis, og den vil formentlig kun blive forværret, hvis man ser en generation frem, uden at krydse vores røde linjer. Det blev så sprunget i luften af de her meget, meget voldsomme meldinger fra præsidenten, og der er det jo rigtig, rigtig vigtigt, at alle os, der tror på international retsorden, får sagt fra. Altså for at vise Trump, at den her vej kan du ikke komme længere ned af.
And now we take you straight to Switzerland's Davos, where my colleague Vishnu Shom unveils the latest of President Trump with the president of Eurasia Group, Ian Bremmer, on Trump's actions concerning Greenland.
India and the United States have been talking about a trade deal now for a long period of time. It's moved, then it's stopped, it's moved. It's nowhere close to being signed as we speak today. Perhaps it might take a few more months if it happens at all. There's a new relationship between New Delhi and China. Some would say that the relationship between India and the United States was premised on a common concern around China. Is that dynamic also changing with or without a trade deal?
At least a little bit it is, but part of it is because the Indians are in a better position to push back. There is, sort of a spectrum of how countries fall between FAFO, fool around and find out, and taco, Trump always chickens out. Right. And on the FAFO side,
that's the headline right there, but carry on.
Well, I mean, it's pretty clear. That's how
right.
Trump sees the world. And, FAFO, you've got, for example, the Venezuelans and the Ukrainians, and taco, you've got the Chinese and the Russians.
Right.
And it turns out India is actually more on the taco scale.
Yeah.
Why? Number one, Modi's a very popular leader who's been in place for 10 years plus and understands that he's going to be there longer than Trump. Also because India is growing at 7-8% this year, and the trade relationship between India and the U.S. isn't that important. At the end of the day, it's not going to break India the way it would Mexico or Canada or the Europeans. So, this isn't so urgent for Modi that he has to respond to everything that Trump wants. And I think that where you are on that spectrum matters a lot.
Absolutely. In
so
fact,
India, a little more taco.
True. There's just been this IMF revision of India's GDP numbers. That's gone up to 7.3%, despite the fact that sanctions are at 50%. If it goes up to 75% because of our economic relationship with Iran, then it could be anything. I mean, who knows what will happen. But for the moment, the Indian economy appears to be fairly resilient. So let's see how far that goes. But I guess...
And it's reforming.
True, it is.
Again, look at the insurance companies, private sector investment, nuclear, private sector investment. I mean, lots of things that India continues to do over a decade now that make it more attractive to international capital investment.
Yeah.
This really matters. Most democracies around the world do not have that capacity.
Yeah.
And well, today, the 20th of January 2026 marks exactly 1 year of Donald Trump's second term as the President of the United States. 1 year in, and he's already made major headlines across the globe. Immigration crackdowns to shooting tariffs, he's shaken up each and every sector. Take a look at this report.
US forces attack Venezuela. Arrest strongman Nicolas Maduro. US President Donald Trump makes it clear he wants to take over Greenland. A year ago, these headlines would have seemed improbable. But a year into his second term, Trump has made the improbable seem plausible. Almost as soon as he walked into the White House, Trump launched a sweeping purge across federal agencies, targeting what he calls the deep state. Thousands of officials were removed or sidelined in the largest government shakeup in modern US history. On immigration, Trump declared a national emergency, deploying troops to the southern border and flooding American streets with heavily armed immigration agents, igniting protests across major American cities. On the world stage, Trump stunned allies and rivals alike. He questioned NATO's commitments, has threatened to take Greenland, and warned Iran that America was locked and loaded. In Ukraine, US support was frozen, sending shockwaves through Europe. Frequent efforts to bring Russia and Ukraine to some agreement have mostly failed so far. In the Middle East, Trump gave Israel unprecedented backing, eventually leading to a fragile truce deal. When it comes to Operation Sindoor, Trump has said dozens of times that he stopped the conflict in May between India and Pakistan, a claim rejected by New Delhi. At home, Trump revived culture wars, rolling back diversity policies, reshaping education rules, and attacking the media as the enemy within. The economy brought mixed signals, markets surged, but inflation fears returned. According to an AP NORC poll, Trump's work on the economy hasn't lived up to the expectations of many people in his own party. The world awaits Trump's action on Greenland, with fears of NATO's breakup growing bigger each day. Something that could upend the geopolitical landscape like never before. 1 year in, America is deeply divided. Supporters see a fighter breaking the system, opponents see a president breaking democratic norms. And if this first year is any indication, the Trump presidency is not slowing down. It is only getting louder. Bureau report for NDTV World.
We now take you to the Middle East, where following the barring of Iranian Foreign Minister Sayed Abbas Araghchi from the Davos summit, he's finally broken his silence. Now, the foreign minister claimed he was barred on the basis of lies and pressure from US and Israel. Not only this, he's further confirmed that the government stands on the violent crackdown of Iranian protesters. Araghchi highlighted the need to defend his people from ISIS-style killings openly backed by Mossad. Not only this, the foreign minister also called out irony by the World Economic Forum, sending invites to Israeli officials amid a genocide, as he claims, in Palestine. He also pointed out how Israeli President Isaac Herzog did a victory lap in Davos back in 2024, despite having sanctions against him. Now, amid the escalating tensions in the Middle East, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has issued a fresh warning to Iran. He's warned Iran not to make the same mistake of attacking Israel. And in case they do attack Israel, Netanyahu said, and I'm quoting here, Israel will attack with a force that Iran has not yet experienced. Here's Netanyahu for you.
אם איראן תעשה טעות ותתקוף אותנו, אנחנו נפעל בעוצמה שאיראן טרם הכירה. איש אינו יכול לנבא מה ילד יום באיראן, אבל דבר אחד ברור, יהיה אשר יהיה, איראן לא תחזור להיות מה שהייתה.
Over in Western Europe, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has said his government would uncover the truth behind the train collision that left at least 39 dead. Now, the statement comes after a fatal high-speed train crash in the south of the country. Some bodies were found hundreds of meters away from the crash site. Efforts to recover, meanwhile, the bodies continued on Monday and the death toll is likely to rise even further. Listen in.
A dar con la verdad, que vamos a conocer la respuesta y que cuando se conozca esa respuesta del origen, de la causa de esta tragedia, como no puede ser de otra manera, con absoluta transparencia y absoluta claridad, lo pondremos en conocimiento de la opinión pública, de los ciudadanos y ciudadanas a través de los medios de comunicación.
Ongoing fast developing Greenland dispute, to say the least, UK's Liberal Democrat leader Ed Davey has a few things to say about Donald Trump. Well, Davey has branded Trump as a gangster and a bully. But he did not stop there. He went on to state that Trump is the most corrupt president the United States has ever seen. He took also a jab at the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer for failing to appease Trump. Davey also urged European allies to stand united until Trump finally backs down. Here's what Davey said.
He is a bully. He thinks he can grab whatever he wants using force if necessary. And he is corrupt. The most corrupt president the United States has ever seen. So there are only two ways of getting him to back down: bribing him with a new jet perhaps, or a few billion in his crypto account, or standing up to him like we would with any other bully. Standing together with our European allies to make him back down.
The Syrian government and the Syrian Democratic Forces, or the SDF as they are called, have finally signed a ceasefire deal. Now, this deal will dismantle the Kurdish-led forces and also reintegrate northeastern Syria with the rest of the country. This is a big political victory for President Ahmed al-Shara and his government, of course, in Damascus. Since taking over the reins of power back in December 24, he has struggled to reassert the government's full authority across Syria. And now he has the vast majority of Syria in his hands. SDF forces, meanwhile, will now reintegrate with the Syrian military and police forces. And thousands of baby turtles made a splash as they were released into an Amazon river in Bolivia. The move is part of a conservation project. The yellow-spotted river turtle is listed as vulnerable to extinction by the International Union for Conservation of Nature. Habitat destruction, pollution and poaching are the three main reasons for the decline in the numbers of these animals. Meanwhile, the release seeks to protect the turtles as they are a key part of the Amazon's ecosystem. We get you more.
Tenemos 30.000 tortugas bebés que van a ser liberadas, que van a ser repobladas en este río, ¿no? Entonces, el fin es que nuestro departamento vuelva a florecer, vuelva a recuperar su sistema de vida silvestre, ¿no? Que se ha perdido.
Well, with that, it's time we step into a short break. Much more lined up on the other side. Don't you go anywhere. Welcome back. Now on to updates from the world of business and technology, where Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney is in fact trying to foster a new global trading order. That's correct. Now, Carney is working more closely with China in linking small trade deals. However, Canada's economy is still overwhelmingly dependent on the US. Now, only last week, Carney took his trade diversification push further than his allies in Europe by signing a deal with China. That's correct. Now, Carney aims to project Canada as the potential leader in a new global trading order. This comes after Trump's tariffs upended long-standing relationships. Now we take you straight to the UK, where the red carpets have become red lines, quite literally. And that's right, 26-year-old Brooklyn Beckham is bending the family script. He's thrown a curveball no one, in fact, saw coming, not even the UK media. Now, in a blistering social media post, in a blistering Instagram post, should I say, the eldest son of Sir David and Victoria Beckham is accusing his famous parents of control, manipulation, and even betrayal. Here's what he said and how the internet reacted. For years, the Beckham brand sold unity. But today, the image has cracked. Brooklyn Beckham, the eldest son of David and Victoria Beckham, going public with an explosive Instagram post. He's accusing his parents of controlling his life, his image, and even his marriage. Brooklyn says he's standing up for myself for the first time and that he doesn't want any reconciliation. He claims his parents tried to derail his relationship with wife Nicola Peltz. He alleged drama at the wedding and media pressure after the wedlock. Not only this, he also alleges that the Beckhams pushed him to sign away rights to his own name. Talk about a full-force strike. Brooklyn's post further says the narrative that his wife controls him is backwards, calling his break from family a turning point for his mental health. He writes that stepping away brought peace and not pain. And while the Beckhams haven't responded publicly online, reactions came fast. Fans calling it heartbreaking, others calling it overdue. But one post summed it up the best. Guess bended like Beckham has a double meaning. Bureau Report, NDTV. Legendary Italian fashion designer Valentino has passed away. The designer was 93 and passed away at his home in Rome. The fashion world, meanwhile, mourns and pays tribute to the late king of glamour. Here's a special report.
Italian fashion legend Valentino Garavani has passed away. Valentino, known for his feminine, elegant, and his signature red shade, known as Valentino Red, has passed away at his Roman residence surrounded by his loved ones. The Roman couturier, known to have found his label in the 1960s, rose to fame dressing European royals, first ladies, and stars like Audrey Hepburn and Elizabeth Taylor. His feminine details like bows, laces, and ruffles, and his eye for evergreen elegance made him a key designer in the 20th century glamour, some even calling him the last emperor of fashion. His designs were the go-to pieces for A-list stars on the red carpet, from Oscars to Cannes. Stars like Anne Hathaway, Lady Gaga, to Nicole Kidman and Aishwarya Rai donned Valentino for several appearances. The Maison of Valentino still thrives and is headed by creative director Alessandro Micheli. The fashion world mourns the passing of a true Italian style icon. Mayank Chaudhary for NDTV.
Now, as the Milan Fashion Week draws to a close, celebrities have reacted to the news of Italian designer Valentino Garavani's death. The jet-set designer died at his home in Rome. He was 93 years old. He was known for his glamour gowns, often his trademark shade of Valentino Red. At the catwalk show in the city, stars included fashion designer Alexander Wang mourned the big loss. Listen in.
Very sad. He was one of the, I think, the most iconic designers, a very important designer. I think without him, we would not be anywhere close at all near where we are today with fashion. So, very sad day for fashion.
Impression and legacy that he had on fashion, as well as the country that he represents. So, yeah, sad news.
Well, those are all the updates we have for you this Tuesday. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Needless to say, have a wonderful day.